Welcome again to On Deck with DeRo and Arch. I am Eric Drossett, and alongside of me is Darren Archer. Darren, good to see you today.
You bet. Good to see you. Nice spring day outside, and looking forward to talking to some sports.
Absolutely. You and I both are in the school industry, so to speak, and so there's a kind of an ending time, a time of transition coming up for us. So it's gone fast in a way, and they all kind of pile on top of each other, and before you know it, you've been doing it a long time, like you and I have. So. Yep, that's the spring means the end of school, and it's upon us. So, hey, I'm going to start with just a couple of I don't know tidbits. I'll call them of sports news or statistics. I'm going to start with LeBron James. First of all, I'll say this: Lakers got beat by a better team. Uh, LeBron or not, the Thunder's they're really good. Poised to win it all, in my opinion. You never know, but seemingly, they're to me they're the best team out there. Um, LeBron took sort of the last shot or the last big shot of that game against the Thunder the other day, which led to a stat that I saw. I wasn't sure of its validity, but then you were able to look something up and sort of saw the same stat. Basically, the stat goes something like this, and this doesn't make me a LeBron James hater. I'm just throwing it out there. Um, in the stat I saw, in his last 30 times of having a chance to tie or put the game ahead or put his team ahead and the clock under 5 seconds, in his last 30 times to take that shot in that situation, he is 1 and 29 success wise. He got it done once, and 29 times he missed that tying or go ahead shot under 5 seconds. I'm going to stop right there and just let you do your thing.
I better watch what I say because I know we have LeBron fans. I'm not
Yes.
a LeBron hater. Let me first preface this
Yes.
by stating that
Yes.
the career that he has had has been nothing short of remarkable. Um, he took the league by storm when he came in as a teenager, and he can still flat out play at the age of 41, 40, whatever, however
Yeah.
old he is now. Um, that's surprising a little bit. I
Yeah.
do
I
know that
agree.
they trust him with the ball in his hands toward the end of the game, which you should, to one of the game's best ever players. I'm not going to call him the GOAT. Okay, I think
I
that's
got
up for debate and
you.
discussion. That's something, maybe a topic we can talk about in a future show. But
Absolutely.
to kind of stay in the ballpark, so to speak, that surprises me a little bit. But I'm not real sure of anybody since he's been with the Lakers, anybody else that you would really want taking that shot, if that makes sense. So,
Right. Right.
um, little surprised he's 1 for 30,
Right.
but hey, kudos to him for once you get 0 for 15 or 1 for 20,
Just
you're
keep
still
on going.
putting it up. That's
Yeah.
right. Eventually, one of those things are going to go down.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? Does he continue to play beyond now?
I don't know. I'm going to back up a half a step, and I'm going to
Okay.
say that I would really trust him at the end of the game as a facilitator.
Yes,
I
he's
think
going to draw attention.
I think he's still really really good in that
Yes.
spot. I would rather him facilitate it and make somebody else better. I trust him way more than I in that situation than I do taking the last shot. And to
Right.
be honest with you, career his the length of his career, I'd probably trust him in that way more.
Mhm.
Um, Now, obviously, the the tendency is always to compare to Jordan. I mean, you and I do that. Everybody does that. Um, and Jordan, although he wasn't afraid of the big shot, he was also a gifted facilitator late in the game. I mean, we've got some
Definitely.
Steve Kerr, John Paxson type moments where I mean, he had the Jordan had the ball in his hands and he gave it up and got them a probably a better shot than what Michael was going to get. So To the first point, I think I want him handling the ball and making everybody else better late in the
Yeah.
game. But I'm also not. Nobody's called me about an NBA job lately, so that's
You
probably
neither, huh?
no,
Hey,
no, hadn't happened.
been
Uh,
sitting by the phone, just nothing happening yet.
Not happening. To your point, has he played his last game? Is this it for LeBron? I don't know. My gut tells me no. I think he still plays. I don't see him coming back to the Lakers necessarily. Um, we've talked about this multiple times on this show. He made 50 million this year. There could be a small market team that could pay him 50 million and they would be plus money to
Yeah.
do that. A team that would. Now, would he go to a place where he's not going to compete? The answer is likely no. But one of the things that I sort of thought about was if they sort of promised him an ownership role as part of his swan song. So go to a small market team, we'll pay you 50 million, and then once you retire, we'll throw some ownership towards you. I think I can see that materializing a little bit. And hey, that's I don't have I haven't read that or saw that anywhere. That's just sort of me thinking outside the box. I do think he's a businessman. I think he does well with his money by all accounts. And so I can see him wanting to have some ownership. And I'm going to take this even one step further, and then I'll let you respond. That might be a place where he could do better than what Jordan did. Jordan didn't have a ton of success as an NBA owner. Maybe LeBron says, "Hey, I can beat you there, Michael." What do you think?
Interesting. I never really looked at it from that angle, but it makes perfect sense. Um, it's
Yeah,
going to be interesting to watch this move forward, and this is something that's not going to be decided, I don't think, within the next 2 weeks.
right.
This is going to drag on a little bit. You know, he's going to test the waters a little bit, and um, you know, he can call his own shot right now, and I think
Yep.
the Lakers probably need him worse than he needs the Lakers. And I know that's going to sound a little bass backwards, but I really think, you know, is Luca ready to be the face of that franchise?
Yeah. And is LA ready for him to be that? I think it's two-way street, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's going to be interesting times moving ahead with uh, to see what direction, what path uh, he travels, and it'll make for some interesting TV down in the future. I know that.
I agree. I agree. And you and we have expressed this on the show, and I'm going to say it again. We both have empathy for Bronny,
Oh
LeBron's
yeah.
son. Like, I think the question I could throw to you is, has he played his last NBA game?
I think by all accounts, yes.
Me too.
Um, and I don't know. There's several different directions you can go with that. I don't. I don't know if LeBron will use Bronny as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, it's done. It's done at the high school level with coaches. You know, hey, there's a good job open,
Right.
and I've got a good son that can play, that can be the, you know, finishing piece to the puzzle at that school. That's a heck of a bargaining chip. So I mean, it happens all the
Right.
time, and
Does.
can't blame him for looking out for his own. But at some point in time, um, that experiment has to be over.
I, I feel like it is. And I'm like you, unless I think he's played his last, unless, and I don't say this with disrespect because he's just being a dad, but
Yeah.
he may call in a favor, right? Somewhere and Bronny gets a shot somewhere else. But I feel like Bronny's maybe played his last NBA minutes.
Yeah.
hey, 2 years from now, he may lead the league in scoring, and we may have to take this conversation back. But and I do feel sorry for Bronny, just for the record.
Yeah.
I think he's
Absolutely.
incredible amounts of pressure and all the Twitter jokes and just all the things that he has to endure uh, for really a young man who's probably not ready for that. So anyway, yeah, interesting times for LeBron, interesting time for the Lakers. And you kind of made this point. It's an interesting time for them separately, LeBron and the Lakers separately, and it's also an interesting time for them as a duo. So time will tell on that, but you're right. I think it's a slow process. I don't think we have LeBron answers for probably well into the summer, I would guess. So, going to move on with a couple major league topics here and stats I found really interesting. Um, the first one I'm going to start with, and this is as of today. We're recording the show on a Wednesday. So these are stats as of today. The show will come out Friday, so obviously there could be some change. Uh, the statistical category is in 2026 teams that have wins above. I'm sorry, teams that have wins playing against teams that are above 500. So, for instance, the Cubs, how have they done against teams above 500? The Dodgers, the Rays, and so on. The top of the league wide, not just this includes American League and National League. The Cubs have 14 wins against teams above 500. That leads baseball. Tied with them is the Pittsburgh Pirates. They also have 14 wins against teams that are above 500 at the time that they play. The Cardinals are third at 13. So the top three are out of the NL Central: Cubs, Pirates, and Cardinals. The next three in order are the Tampa Bay Rays, who are playing really well right now. We'll talk some more about that. They have 10. And then the next two are the Rangers and the Nationals. They each have 10 wins against teams that were 500 or better when they played. Any surprises there or any comments regarding that?
I think if we would go back in time about a month and a half ago, I would say yes, all of them.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, honestly, those were, you're not talking about the Padres, you're not talking about the Dodgers, you're not talking about the Atlanta Braves and some of those others.
right.
Or did you say the Braves?
No, the Braves were not in the
Yeah,
top
okay.
six.
I
They were
mean,
not.
you would think that'd be one, two, three,
Yeah, I
you know,
mean, you would think
and the
Dodgers,
National League.
Padres, Yankees, like
Sure,
Braves.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yankees,
that'd be
sure.
your list, right?
And the National League Central, I mean, who saw this coming? Um, and hey, they're going to get to the point where they're going to start beating up on each other. They already
Yeah,
have to a certain extent
right.
with interdivision play, but man, the National League Central's for real, and they have proven it um, by some of the teams that they have played across Major League Baseball outside of the division. And uh, I mean, you look at the records that they have and the teams that they beat.
Yeah,
Realize it's mid-May, early May, but
yeah,
my goodness, that's quite a statement coming out of the gates.
absolutely. Uh, Coach Ryerson at Stratford High School, he texted me this today. And I found it interesting. We didn't talk about this on air before you and I started, but uh, he's worried about Paul Skeens. Ryerson is. His first year in the league, Ryerson had a 1.96 ERA. Year two, he had a 1.97, and this year he's at 1.98. So he's wondering if Skeens is tailing off a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's something. That's something you may want to trade him before he gets to
Yeah.
two.
Well, the Cincinnati Reds will give you a bucket of balls and a case of Big League Chew
Right.
uh, for Paul Skeens Pirates if you're interested. So if you we'd be happy to make that trade. So if
Yeah.
you're in Pittsburgh land right now, again, a bucket of balls and a case of Big League Chew, and for Paul Skeens straight up. So
What a
Pirates
bargain.
fans, give me a call if you're interested. Anyway, I found that interesting. Those teams that were winning against teams above 500, which in the Rangers and Nationals, sort of in there. Or if you, as you think about them, that probably means they're underachieving against teams that are on the lower end. I mean, they're probably struggling a little bit. So if they ever get that turn to where they're beating those teams too, then all of a sudden they're in the hunt. So anyway, interesting stat. Cubs are playing really well, and so it makes sense that they lead the majors and wins against teams that have a record of 500 or more. So keeping with the top teams and the low teams in Major League Baseball, I'm going to go with this. As of the time we're recording this show, the top records in all of Major League Baseball, the Braves are number one. The Tampa Bay Rays are second. The Cubs are third, and the Yankees are fourth. Now I'm going to go through and give you their payroll. Okay. And I'm getting to a later point here. Braves payroll, they're number one in Major League Baseball right now in wins and losses, 253 million this year. The Rays, second best record in the league, 87 million. The Cubs, third best record in the league, 232 million. And the Yankees are the fourth best, and they come in at over 200 million. I forgot exactly what that number is. Okay. Now we're going to flip to the bottom four. The bottom four teams in the league, record wise, are the Rockies, Astros, Angels, and Mets. Rockies payroll 122 million. Astros 237 million. The Angels 183 million. The bottom team in the league, record wise, the New York Mets. Their payroll is 368 million.
Wow. Wow. Money well spent, huh?
Something. I,
Holy cow.
I, Darren, I told you I was going to make this reference on air, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. Those of you, if you don't know who Frank Fleming is, uh, you need to just Google Frank Fleming. He is a diehard Mets fan. I don't know if he still does, but he was affiliated with Barstool Sports. May still be. Anyway, he's a huge Mets fan. I love listening to him, and he gets wildly upset when his Mets do not do well. Is that strong enough?
No, not even close.
And if you do watch videos from Frank, please do not have children in the room.
Yes. Yes.
Frank is very honest. So if you want some other good viewing besides On Deck with DeRo and Arch, pull up a video from Frank Fleming talking about the Mets, and you will be changed forever. Did I say enough there, you think?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Check them out, people. It's well worth your time, I promise.
Absolutely. Anyway, the Mets are in the basement in Major League Baseball, and their payroll, I'm guessing, is the highest in the league. I did not compare every team's payroll, but 368 million to be in last place. So I'm sure that the New Yorkers aren't happy about that. Last Major League Baseball tidbit that I've got for you before we move forward. I mentioned Craig Biggio last week, member of the Houston Astros when they were. I mean, they've been really good off and on for a long time, but they had a group there in the '90s is really good. They could swing it and had Hall of Famers and those kind of things. And Biggio was in the top 20 of hits leaders in the '90s decade. So from 1990 to 1999, Biggio top 20 in hits. The reason I'm bringing this to you, Darren, is the number one hit guy in the '90s was a gentleman named Mark Grace. He had
Very good.
1,754 hits in the 1990s.
Honestly, DeRo, that doesn't surprise me. It
Yeah.
surprises me he's number one, but he had the smoothest, sweetest swing, I think, in all of baseball. Um, he just made it look easy. He was a left-handed batter, played first for the Cubs, and man, when he stepped up to the plate, it was just like it's hard to explain. Just the ease in which he was able to swing
Yeah.
and find holes or hit it over the fence. Now he wasn't really known as a home run hitter, um, but he also had a good complement of players around him that were able to protect him
Yeah.
a little bit in that order. But man, he had a sweet swing, beautiful swing.
He did. Had a guy named Sandberg and a guy named Dawson around him. Those guys weren't bad. Um, but you're right.
Sean Dunston, Jody
Yeah,
Davis,
yeah.
yeah,
They
yeah.
had a nice group.
Andre
Didn't have
Dawson at times, yeah,
just pitching, just didn't have enough pitching
yeah,
as at on the whole for the decade wide. I mean, they had some
right,
glimpses here and there, but you're right. I think when I think about lefty swings, I think about Grace, think about King Griffey, and I think
yes,
about Rod Carew. I mean,
yes,
those
very,
are
very
guys
good, yes,
probably I'd put all in the now Griffey, obviously, I mean, he had more lift and he was trying to get launch angle and all those things that they talk about now, but he's still really smooth.
yeah,
And but Grace and Carew, just how easy it seems so easy for those guys.
yes,
And just that sweet lefty stroke. So a couple of names from that hit list from the 90s that it only probably really baseball purists or fans will recognize. Top 20 in hits in the 1990s. Outfielder Steve Finley was very consistent in those 90s. I'd actually kind of forgotten about him,
mhm,
but he was middle of the pack there in the 90s. Number of hits. Jay Bell, shortstop for the Pirates, who, in my mind, I sort of thought about him more probably in a defensive sense, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but uh, he too had some really good teams around him, players around him. But I would not have picked Jay Bell as a top 20 in hits in the 90s. And then Paul O'Neill
yeah,
was another name who was a nice player by all accounts and looked to hit it hard and that kind of thing. But I wouldn't have picked him as top 20 in hits. Three guys were in the same list with Rafael Palmeiro and Craig Biggio and Frank Thomas and Griffey and pretty elite list to be a part of. So anyway, primarily threw that your way because one of your cubbies there was at the top of that list. Moving on, going to do a little story here. I've done some research on this, and Darren, I'll tell the whole story first, and then we'll break it down a little bit. Um, Rucker Park in Harlem, New York City, is known for their basketball. I mean, for decades. Just some games there, legendary games, some legendary players that's come out of there. Guys that have gone there and played that weren't from there. Even as recent as Kevin Durant made a stop in Rucker Park early in his career and played there. Wilt Chamberlain stopped through there and played once. Just just some big time names have been there. Uh, I kept coming back to this name. Guy by the name of Joe Hammond is revered by almost all people that have anything to do with Rucker Park basketball as being the greatest player of all time to play there. And his signature moment was he played for a team that was from that Rucker Park area, uh, played a team called the West Siders that was composed of ABA players. And on that ABA team, of all people, was Julius Erving, as in Dr. J. Um, they set up a game between I think it was Millbank was the name of Joe Hammond's team against the West Siders, which was Irving's team. Irving had ABA players on his team, another player named Billy Paltz, who fans might recognize him. Charlie Scott was a guy out of that era that was really good that played in the ABA, was also on Irving's team. End result of that game was Hammond had 50 points in that game, and Irving had 39. Um, and they tell the story of uh, the park is small, obviously, where they play the game, but people would climb and actually hang on the fence to watch the game and climb in trees and try to get as high as they could on a building or whatever to watch this. And apparently, this game was legendary in terms of the number of people that were there. So I sort of decided to dive into this Joe Hammond story a little bit. I mean, if he's really as good as they say, surely somebody else noticed. And indeed, they did. In 1971, the LA Lakers picked him as their fifth pick in what was called the inaugural NBA hardship draft. To be eligible for the hardship draft, guys had to be facing financial hardship and not have college experience. Okay. Well, Rucker didn't have college experience. He went to the eighth grade, started the ninth, and said that was enough for him. So he had a little. He didn't even have a ninth grade. He did not finish the ninth grade. Okay. So he fit the category. The Lakers drafted Hammond with the fifth pick. Prior to the draft, he had a pre-draft workout with Jerry West. The Lakers flew Jerry West to that Harlem area or at a place called Pace University. I don't know anything about Pace University, but Jerry West was a part of that. And at some point, he also had a workout with Pat Riley, in which I think there was tempers and a lot of things went on with that one-on-one with Pat Riley. End result was the Lakers offered Joe Hammond $50,000, 1 year contract, $50,000, 1971. So that would have been for the 72 season. The Nets out of the ABA, the Nets were an ABA team at that point. They offered Hammond a 3 year contract. It was a no cut contract. They would not cut him for 3 years. And the deal was for $105,000. And the coach of the Nets at that time was Lou Carnesecca of St. John's fame. If you're familiar with St. John's basketball, it hadn't always been Rick Pitino. Carnesecca was at St. John's, Coach Chris Mullen, and some of those players. But Carnesecca was coaching then, and the Nets offered Hammond 3 years, $105,000. Hammond took neither deal. And as he recounts the story later in his life, he basically said that he could make more gambling. He liked his chances of making more money in dice games and sort of underground Harlem gambling that was really prevalent during the 70s. And he wanted to stay in Harlem. He did not want to leave. So, citing the fact that he could make more money gambling, he refused both contracts. He ended up playing until he was about 35 years old. Still legendary in the Harlem laurels. Storytelling's still the best ever come out of there, according to all those guys. As of 2024, he was still alive. I don't know if he still is now or not, but went on to have kind of a mixed bag in terms of the rest of his life, in and out of jail a few times on some different charges and drug charges and those kind of things. At one point was either a cellmate or in the same facility, prison-wise, as the Son of Sam killer. So Mr. Hammond had a storied life. So there's the Joe Hammond story. I'm going to throw it your way.
Wow. What a story to tell. And we say this often on this program, you just can't make that up.
You can't. You can't.
And
Yeah.
that statement probably holds true more for this story than any other thing we've talked about in the past. But yeah, Rucker Park is synonymous with basketball, and um, it's not a very big place, not a really impressive place, but just the number of people that it draws, um, to their summertime games, and especially back in the '70s and early '80s.
Yeah.
Man, I remember as a kid hearing about Rucker Park, and the fact that Dr. J went there to play.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Kevin Durant went there to play. If I'm not mistaken, that's where Muggsy Bogues kind of cut his teeth,
Mm.
uh, there at Rutgers. So, it certainly is a famous place, not only in New York City, but in the United States as far as basketball is concerned. And that's a very interesting story.
There's different accounts of this, so I'm not saying this is fact. And I can't remember what Hammond. I do remember what Hammond said. Um, there are accounts that Hammond was not there for the first half of the game, and he scored 50 in the second half of that game. Uh, his account was, I do remember, his account was that he thought the game started at 3 in the afternoon and it actually started at 2. And so he got there at like 2:45 or something, and by then it was halftime. There are other people that say that discount that story and say that he did in fact play the whole game.
Yeah, yeah,
Either way, 50 against a team that has the likes of Julius Erving and that, either way, pretty good.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
what a great story! If viewers, if you're listening to this, yeah, there is a ton of things out there about Joe Hammond. Sports Illustrated, New York Times. There's been a lot of writings about Joe Hammond. So that's kind of my it's kind of my cool story for the week. So I thought I'd throw that at you and let you think about it a little bit. It's weird that Louis Carnesecca was involved in that. I mean, to me, the whole story is sort of just set off or set apart by the names that are included. Even down to prison mates. That
Right.
just I just can't imagine the experiences and the stories that he would have if you were just talking to him. So, Joe Hammond, if you're out there listening to us, look him up. Yeah, it's good stuff. Going to move on to some more Major League Baseball. The reason I want to mention this Rays record, the Tampa Bay Rays are 28-13 right now, second best record in the major leagues. Um, they're 9-1 their last 10, so they're on a bit of a heater. I've got a hold 'em and fold 'em for you later in the show that I wanted to mention the Rays record. They are second best in the majors. The Cubs, your Chicago Cubs, at this very moment in time, have the best record in Major League Baseball.
Even a blind hog finds an acorn every now and then.
I was waiting.
Uh,
The the,
hey,
the dramatic.
I've been a Cubs fan my whole life, and I know without a doubt that that's about to change. It's just the Cubs way. You know
Yeah,
how Mozeliak always talked with the Cardinals, always talked about the Cardinal way.
yeah,
Well, that's the Cub way. Uh,
they're gonna
no,
break your heart,
they,
aren't they?
yeah, without a doubt, and not just break it, but stomp on it, run over it with the bus, and then back
Yeah,
over it with that same bus. So
I agree. I agree. You mentioned the Cardinals there. We'll just stay on this really quick, but for me, this is just my look at the Cardinals this year. I really thought that, hey, this was just a year that was sort of a bridge year. In essence, they were transitioning from this older, aging, big contract sort of team and sort of making a what I thought would be a slower transition towards, hey, we're going to use some kids out of the farm system, or we're going to start adding some pieces, but that, hey, that's going to take place over 2 or 3 years. my question for you is, I mean, their youth seemingly has arrived. I mean, is the transition over? I mean, are they to the point where they can start thinking about adding some key pieces or two and get a veteran or two and transition really, really quickly?
I think with a lot of their younger players, yes. Hey, there's still more in the minor leagues that are waiting to just get their shot, and they will eventually. They have one of the best farm systems in baseball right now, and um, they've just happened to strike while the iron's hot. And with that confidence, I think it's going to allow them to sustain what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
We talked about, hey, what players uh, are they going to get rid of at the trade deadline? Well, it's going to be, hey, who are they going to try to pick up at the trade deadline? Because barring any major injuries, and their pitching staff stays relatively healthy, um, hey, they're going to be buyers. Now, how big of buyers that remains to be seen, but we talked about this off air. I can see a lot of movement um, leading up to the trade deadline, and there will be some big names in the baseball world um, with the collective bargaining agreement kind of floating in the wind right now. I noticed that uh, Major League Baseball and Players Association had initial talks yesterday. Um, be interesting to see how that continues to progress throughout the year, but I don't think anything's going to be done until after the season and there's an official
Yeah.
lockout. I think that's where the baseball players will be able to uh, force their muscle a little bit, so to speak,
Yeah.
by claiming there's a lockout. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see moving forward. But I shoot right now they've got to be buyers, or they sit. They may pick up a piece or two, and then get through the rest of this season. Uh, have some off-season acquisitions and start plugging and playing. Um, And like I said, they've got a really good farm system right now. Uh, that hey, they may be the best young team in baseball and best young team in a long while. We kind of thought the Chicago White Sox coming into this season, the A's,
Yeah.
Sacramento A's, Oakland A's, Las
Right.
Vegas A's, whatever you want to call them,
Right.
could be one of those teams too. But man, I mean, just out of nowhere, uh,
Yeah.
they look good.
And it's for me, it's the way they're winning. Like like they got a little mojo
Yes.
and hey, like I'm from Missouri, but I'm not a huge Cardinals fan. So for me to say that, like I'm not just praising my own team when I say that. Like they win games and you're kind of like, wow, like how did they do that? Or hey, I mean, they show tremendous resiliency. They're never out of it. Those young kids don't know what they don't know part of the time. And
Exactly. I think that's a key.
yeah, but as much as I hate to admit it, they're kind of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
as a Reds fans, that's hard for me. And as a Cubs fan, I'm sure it's even harder for you to say that.
Oh, yeah, it's sacrilegious for me, but I'm gonna give credit where credit's due, and it's not that
Yeah.
I dislike the Cardinals. Obviously, half my family is are Cardinals fans, the other third are Cubs fans, and, it's always fun to have a rivalry there, but I think it's mutual respect, and like I said, I'm gonna call a spade, and
Yeah.
Cardinals are pretty dang good.
They're good and they've just got a little quiet confidence that's contagious. That just all their guys seem to have it right now.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm with you. I think, and hey, I do think the lockout could change their approach. It could change it several ways. They could be super aggressive and say, "Hey, let's go for it," or they could say, "Hey, let's see how the finances play out in this next round of negotiations, and then we'll put the pieces together after that."
Sure.
So, and Obviously, all teams are going to have that decision, but I think Cardinals for sure are going to have. They've got a couple ways they can go there and be safe in the public's eye either way. Whereas some of your other teams, it's going to be loud criticism probably if they stand stand pat or whatever, because they may view this as their window to win, and then a lockout comes and the window closes suddenly. So
Yeah.
lots of factors there. Uh, Switching to the NBA, we'll just touch on the NBA briefly here. As of today, the Spurs are 3-2 over the T Wolves, and what's a really good series, I think. Entertaining series, hard fought, physical series. The winner of that gets the Thunder. So, congratulations to the Spurs or the T Wolves there. Um, on the other side, in the other conference, it's the Pistons versus the Cavs. That game or that series is 2-2. Winner gets the Knicks. Uh, Knicks have been off a long time. Does this layoff hurt or help them? Your opinion? And this is a universal question. You can ask that in every sport every year, so it's not just a Knicks
Sure.
question.
Yeah, and the same is probably going to hold true with Oklahoma City Thunder.
Right.
They're going to have some time off as well. Um, I don't think it necessarily hurts you at this point in time of the season. If anything, I think it helps you get your legs back underneath you after a long season and pretty grueling playoffs for everybody except for Oklahoma City. And I'm not sure that they'll lose a game throughout the entire playoffs. I mean, I don't know what the over under is on that, but I'd be willing to take a chance and put some money that they don't lose a game. Hey, I'd take a game and a half and run
Well,
if that was a bet.
I'm sure FanDuel would be happy to accommodate
Oh,
your
they've accommodated me.
your betting needs. So they would be more than happy to give you some odds on that. So I'm like you. I think Thunder's awfully hard to beat.
Yep.
I feel like I feel like the Knicks. This break probably does help them. I think they'll I feel like it's got a Thunder Knicks championship series feel to it, but who knows? You just never know. But NBA, it's fun right now. It's fun to watch. I am enjoying that Spurs Minnesota series. Um, Road wins are kind of a thing in the Pistons Cavs series. I mean, you win on the road, then that changes the whole series and stretches it out and all those things. So that too is a good series for different reasons. All right. Well, viewers, we've come to the time in the show that we call Hold 'em and Fold 'em. I've got two or three scenarios that I give Coach Archer every week or most every week. I give him a premise, and he has to decide if he is going to hold or fold on that premise. The first one is a little different sort of way of going about it. So it's not your traditional hold 'em or fold 'em. I read this thing from this guy just recently, and he put together his all time major league team minus the DH. So he put together a group of 8 players, no pitchers, and then he was basically letting you, the reader, pick the DH. Uh, and he was quick to note on this that he did not make allowances for generational athletic differences. In other words, Ty Cobb was going to be on that team because Ty Cobb was a really great player. And whether or not he could play now didn't fit in, didn't matter on this guy's team. So I'm going to give you the team quickly, and then I'm going to have you select your all time DH that would be on this team. Okay. So as I'm reading, you'll have a little think time. In the one hole, batting leadoff, Ty Cobb playing outfield. Batting second, Rogers Hornsby playing second base. Batting third and in the outfield is Babe Ruth. The 4 hole is going to be the DH. So that's the person you're going to have to fill in. 5 hole is Lou Gehrig playing first base. Batting sixth, Willie Mays playing outfield. Batting seventh and playing shortstop is Honus Wagner. Batting eighth and playing third base is Mike Schmidt in the 8 hole. And batting ninth and doing the catching is Johnny Bench. So that was his all-time team. We could argue it till the cows come home. In a lot of areas, no doubt that isn't a phenomenal list. No matter what your thoughts are, incredible list of players through the years. So the job that I'm tasking you with, what DH fits that team and why?
Gosh, I mean, given today's set of rules for the DH, um, where it's both National League and American League,
Right.
um,
And I'm going to sort of make this. I didn't make this ultra clear either.
okay.
He wanted somebody that did actually spend some time as a DH.
Oh,
So
did actually spend time as
yeah,
DH. Okay. Okay.
which so my point with that is uh, Hank Aaron's not on this team. He did
Right.
DH some late in his career. So that may change your
Yeah,
opinion. I don't know.
it does. It does, and I'm pretty sure uh, that my choice did DH at times and did a lot towards the end of his career. But I think I would have to go with Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
Um,
he did DH. Yes,
yeah, I thought he did.
a right
Uh,
fielder by trade early on.
correct.
But yes, uh, wow, that's a great pick.
He just seemed to hit when hitting mattered.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it
He
does.
wasn't necessarily your best home run hitter ever, but by golly, if you were in games, if you were in the World Series and you needed somebody to hit a dinger, buddy, he was ready.
Yeah, that's a great
I
pick.
just yeah. Well,
Look at you.
I put a little wood on the ball every now and then.
That's
I
a
close
great
my
pick.
eyes when I swing, but
No, I'm that name did not necessarily resonate on my radar, but it's a great pick. Even in that lineup, it's a great pick because
who would you select out of curiosity?
man, there's a lot of good ones through the years.
Yeah, I don't think there's not really a wrong answer.
No,
I mean,
no,
we can
and
name off a couple handfuls worth of people,
yeah,
and you're gonna say, "Yeah, I get that." Yeah,
here's the reason I like the Jackson pick.
okay.
It's deeper than just his ability to hit. Like there's a cast of characters on this team, right?
Oh, yeah, he'd fit right in.
And he would fit right into
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like Ty Cobb and like legendary for his, his antics and his way of
Right.
playing the game and Babe Ruth, while it's probably been embellished, is his off the field sort of habits are at the forefront, and so yeah, what a cast of characters, and I think Reggie Jackson fits right into that. So that may be your pick of the year on our show so far this year. Good
Even a
work.
blind squirrel finds a nut every now and
That
then there,
that
DeRo.
is that is good work. I like it. So I've got two more for you that are traditional Hold'em Fold'em format. Okay. I mentioned earlier that the Tampa Bay Rays were the second best team in baseball as of today. Record of 28-13, winners of 9 out of 10. Here's your Hold'em and Fold'em. The Tampa Bay Rays will fall off so much so this year that they will not make the playoffs. Hold them or fold them.
But they will not make the playoffs. I'm going to be fold them, uh, unless they just have a rash of injuries to both their pitching staff and
Yeah,
their normal everyday players. They do too many things well. Um, Offensively, they've got guys that get on base. They do a great job of moving the runners, kind of play station to station, and then uh, there's a lot of people in that lineup that have a lot of pop. Caminero comes to mind.
Yeah.
One of the great young talents in baseball, and hey, he's a swing away from putting it over the fence, and their pitching staff is really, really good. I mean, from top to bottom, I think that's the thing that has surprised me the most is, they always have, it seems like, if for as long as they've been an organization, they've always had a really good pitching staff,
Yeah.
and they will bring some young guys up and kind of get them going, and then we'll trade them off just for that next group to be able to come through. And they've got a nice mixture of young pitchers, fairly young pitchers,
Yeah.
and veterans that just get the job done. And hey, they finish off games that seventh, eighth, and ninth inning by committee. They don't have that necessarily, set up man closer,
Right.
bridge guys. It's by committee, and I don't think they're going anywhere if they stay healthy.
I would agree with that. For me, what their starting pitching has done to this point. I was looking at their stats today, just their starting pitching. I mean, they've got couple guys below an ERA of below 2, and then another one in the 2s, and another starter in 3s. And I mean, just doing a nice job. So they're pitching. And again, you're right, an injury or two and the whole dynamic changes, but that's any team right now. But I'm with you. I think they hang around. I think they make it. How far they go and all those things, I'm not sure, but I think they got a good chance to make it. So your last Hold'em and Fold'em today for this episode is, first of all, happy birthday to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman turned 65 years old today. Hard to believe.
Yes, it
If
is.
he's 65, that makes you and I old as well.
42, 43.
Yeah, I had 39, but yeah.
Oh, my bad. You're a lot younger than I am, though. So
Yeah. So with that birthday shout out to Mr. Rodman, here's your Hold'em and Fold'em. Dennis Rodman's skill set and the way he went about his business as an NBA player would transcend, and let me also add to that, his championship pedigree. He was a part of a lot of winners. All of those things would transcend to today, and he would be a contributor at the same level ish, and also bring to a championship team the same qualities that he brought in the 90s. Basically, does Dennis Rodman transcend to today? That's basically the question.
yeah, that's a hard Hold'em.
Yeah.
All in. I'm pushing all my chips in on the table because, hey, if he can have an effect on the team that has Jordan, Pippen, and the rest of the cast, he can do it with anybody in any era. That was arguably the best 5-year run, 6-year run of any team in NBA history. I think his style of play would actually be refreshing in this day and age.
Yeah, I
Hey,
agree.
he did not worry about his body on and off the court.
That's a valid point.
but especially on the court, and for somebody to specialize in rebounding the way that he does, or the way that he did, and the way he did it.
Yeah.
Hey, he was the enforcer. You just don't have those kind of guys anymore. Could you imagine Dennis Rodman back in his prime being told, "Hey, we're going to sit you tonight and delinquish your role a little bit and give you a break"?
Load management.
Load management, yeah, that'd go over like a turd in a punch bowl at the high school prom. That's not. He wouldn't accept that, and a lot of those guys back in that era wouldn't.
Yeah.
It was just different back then. Really, really different. It's hard to explain to the 20, 30 somethings that didn't really get a chance to they've seen stuff on YouTube videos, highlights and stuff like that, but to one thing is we didn't, I mean, that was one of the only things we had to watch during the week that we could look forward to besides Saturday cartoon marathon every Saturday morning with a bowl of
Right.
Fruit Loops and your pajamas on till 2. So, it was just a different time back then.
Yeah. I agree. I would totally be in on Dennis Rodman in this era,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
without question. And honestly, I mean, he would shake up some teams a little bit, right? I think he had a competitive level that was, Jordan gets, and rightly so, is so revered for his competitive spirit, but Dennis Rodman
Yeah.
was as competitive as any guy out there.
He did it through his play.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a boisterous person.
Right.
I think Pippen and Jordan had that on lock.
Right.
But he let his play do the talking. And man, could you imagine more players like him in the league right now? Or
He
Phil
was,
Lambier. Hey, if you
yeah.
come in here, you may or may not escape with your head. So
Right.
think
Right.
twice. You can come
Yeah.
on in, but you're taking that chance. And at some point in time, there's guys making business decisions thinking,
Yep.
man, do I want to see my kids and wife when I get back home or be in a hospital for a week?
Right.
So,
Right.
it's just a different era.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, before I close this out, I'm going to go back to an early piece of the story. You mentioned his role as the enforcer, and you kind of give him some adjectives, some names. Back to the Joe Hammond story. He was known as the Destroyer. Okay, that was his nickname.
Uh-huh.
He actually, in 2010, sued Nike and Foot Locker for $5 million because they were using the term the destroyer on some of their something apparel or shoes or something like that. And he claimed that he deserved the credit for the destroyer thing. I never read whether or not he won or lost that lawsuit,
Yeah.
but Joe Hammond was known as the destroyer and thought it was worth $5 million apparently. So
Heck
uh,
yeah. Hey, if you're running Rucker, you're running the world, baby.
that's right. That's right. I would agree with you totally. So, well, Darren, I'm out of material. That's all I got for tonight.
Well, that was a
So,
lot. There was a lot of great
yeah,
information, DeRo.
good,
Good job,
good,
brother.
it's good stuff. So, I'm gonna let you say hello and a goodbye to our people here before we get off the air. I'll let you do that now, and then I'll close this out.
Sounds great as always. Fans, listeners, viewers, thank you for your continued support. Keep showing your support. Go to our YouTube page, Facebook. Make sure you join, like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. You see on the ticker below is our X handle or Twitter. And hey, give us a like, give us a follow. We try to keep uh, everyone abreast of not just sports going on around the world, but we kind of focus in on college sports throughout the state of Missouri at every level, and obviously high school sports throughout the state of Missouri as well. So be sure to give us a like, give us a follow, and we sure do appreciate your continued support.
Absolutely. I will echo that with the viewers. Mentioned this briefly last week, but we've got a really nice, loyal group that's been following us, and we're super appreciative of that. And Darren sort of makes this comment all the time, but I'm gonna be the one to say it tonight. We're just a couple of guys that sit around and talk about sports and try to bring some information some viewers out there. And so we are glad that some of you are enjoying that and continuing to support us. So thanks for doing that. Darren, for this week's episode, I'm going to bring us to a close. It's good to see you this week.
Absolutely great to see you. Look forward to next week.
All right. Without further ado, you have been watching On Deck with DeRo and Arch. For Darren Archer, I am Eric DeRosset, and we will see you next episode.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.